Hey, welcome back to my channel, guys. This is Sashi, and today I wanted to talk about a topic that I talked about and discussed quite a while ago, maybe 2-3 months ago, and which is about Japanese against foreigners and how and why Japanese people will ever going to feel as close to a foreigners or different people from different ethnicity as Japanese people, as their own kind of group of people. So what I'm saying is that in Japan, there's a thing called Xenophobia, which is about fear to interact against foreigners. And why so many Japanese people have that kind of a fear against different kind of people? It's because I talked in a video that it's because of the island, a really isolated environment where there's a little to none a change or different people coming in to their own culture. And I know you're going to say like, oh, but there's so many travelers traveling to Japan and tourists. How about, what about those people who are living in Japan as foreign workers? Yes, they exist, and many Japanese people see foreigners in big cities, but most of the people in Japan who live in their own, states or province or rural cities, when they're growing up in from elementary school, kindergarten, elementary school, junior high school, and high school, most of them have probably little to no chance, opportunity to meet and actually interact on a personal level to a foreigners who are not a Japanese in ethnical sense. Why is that? It's because of the geographical characteristic of Japan, its island, and it's isolated, or you could say, isolated, quarantined, whatever the way you want to say it. But there are other things like a cultural aspect that's contributing to a behavior of Japanese people, and one of the biggest ones is in media. Media is contributing to how Japanese tend to think, and especially I talked about this in a video, but media like animes and movies from Hollywood, as well as anime characters. Many popular anime characters, comic characters are actually, most of them are actually Caucasians with green or blue eyes, with brown or blonde hair. If you think about it, Sailor Moon, what is it called? Level over 9,000, Goku. What is the name of the comic that Goku appears? I can't remember. But Goku, Mononoke Hime, Ghibli movies, most of them are foreigners, like Caucasians specifically. Many gaming characters like Final Fantasy, PlayStation, most of them are Caucasians, and those are actually brainwashing Japanese people from really young age. And today I wanted to talk about this is what I wanted to talk about in this video. I know the intro was quite long, but also there is a custom in Japan in TV media where when they do voiceover, when they translate a foreigner's interview, they do voiceover in a translation, right? And Japanese people, voice of Japanese translator, voice of a voiceover for foreigners, either Caucasian or black or other Asians, tend to be quite unique and quite unique. And in that, for men, guys' voice tend to be really low and thick and deep, more masculine feature. Whereas woman's voice tends to be higher, like high-pitched voice that kind of accentuate our femininity in a voice. So I'm gonna show you Japanese entertainment TV show I was watching today, and just about to play the section where the Japanese guy was interviewing foreigners in Okinawa, and then just pay attention to the voiceover of this foreign guy, right? American guy. It's different. It's different. Even if I can hear this American guy's voice, which is normal, just like me, like mine, when it comes to voiceover, it changes his, it changes the perception of his voice and the characteristic, and then therefore personality 180 degree, because they totally change foreigner's voice into really deep ones and thick and deep and loud ones. So let's play this one, alright? I'm gonna brighten my display. Here.
Yes, 俺たち白人は肌が弱いんだ。だからここで焼いて下地を作っておかないと日光ですぐやけどしてしまうんだ。人が言うた通りやな。こちらの日差しは本当に強いからね。あと黒い方がアメリカの女性にモテるんだよ。僕はボディビルの大会があると。
Did you notice that? The guy spoke in English in the beginning, first, second, 1 or 2 seconds, and his voice was pretty high. It was like even higher than mine. But when it comes to voiceover, somehow they decided, the Japanese TV media companies decided to voiceover with a really thick and deep voice. What does it mean to a behavior of Japanese people against foreigners? That this is going to create a kind of a thinking or idea that foreigners are not as similar or same as Japanese people. They are people from different, far away from country, or they don't belong here. They are different kinds. From even Japanese people said, they foreigners look like a people or like a creature from different planet. Can you understand what that means? For them, foreigners look so different, and not even to the, it's way past the point of being a exotic. It looks foreign, alien to them. So some Japanese people I heard saying, foreigners to them seem to be more of like an alien and foreign objects or foreign creatures, and that's how some of them describe foreigners as. So let's keep playing one more time that section. All right. Who speaks like this voice? Alright, so this is a manipulation of an image of foreigners that Japanese people have, created by Japanese TV media and the industry. And I don't think most 95-98% of Japanese people even notice about this fact, because they're being exposed to this thing, media manipulation thing, from very, very young age, childhood, like age 3, age 5, before elementary school, and they didn't even have built a critical mind to even think against those things. They have no filter when they're young, so they just take in whatever that is in the TV, in the media, magazine, right, or movie. And so that's how brainwashing is happening in Japan since early age, where they haven't built a critical brain and eyes to really shift through information and see what is actually going on. And granted, until 1 or 2 years ago, I didn't even notice about this, right? I took it for granted because I've been so used to, whenever Japanese people do interviews with foreigners, I've been so used to hearing the different kind of voice, different pitch. It's definitely, Japanese people never speak at that low pitch of voice or high pitch of voice. It's almost like animated in a comic, right? And they're so used to it. And then so that makes them think like, oh, okay, so foreigners tend to be more, for guys, more masculine and a thick and a deep voice, whereas girls they tend to have like annoying high pitched voice. That's what makes, you know, Japanese people act and think about foreigners. And that creates quite a bit of a distance gap between Japanese people and the non-Japanese people, mentally, physically. You know, physically of course, but mentally and psychologically as well. They're creating a psychological gap between Japanese and non-Japanese people. Even if there are more than, I would say, 10,000 or 100,000 foreigners living in Japan. Get it? So this is really, you know, one dangerous aspect of, you know, this kind of a media manipulation, psychological operation done in a mass, in the public, by media industry, social conditioning, right? So this explains a lot about why Japanese tend to view a specific certain kind of ethnicity as a certain way, and especially, you know, I'm connecting dots here, connecting dots into a line here, but especially Black and Caucasian ethnicity. Japanese tend to feel a little bit, you know, distant from them, because first they are not Asians, and second of all they are way bigger than Asian ethnicity, and then third of all they, in Japanese media, portray them as, you know, probably they amplify or multiply their either masculinity or femininity to the point of, you know, putting them on pedestal. For example, a girl, the foreign girl, like let's say Caucasian girls, you know, the media are putting those girls on pedestal, like an all blonde girl or a brunette girl. They look like Cinderella with high pitched voice, whereas the guys, they look like they sound like a Hulk, a gorilla, like a, you know, deep and a thick voice, and it's just unrealistic. They're creating unrealistic portrait of foreign people here, and that makes it harder for Japanese people to relate to foreigners as if they're just normal people. And this is kind of discrimination here, not in a negative way, but it's more subtle and you know, implicit effect of this is creating a negative environment where Japanese people cannot relate to people from different ethnicity or background as the same. You know, this doesn't promote inclusiveness in the culture. Obviously, this is promoting exclusiveness, because why do you need to differentiate between Japanese and non-Japanese when you do voiceover? And then for non-Japanese people, voiceover, the pitch and characteristic voiceover becomes so unrealistic, you know, not artificial, but it's a little bit more like man-made, like, you know, robotic, or, you know, those voices that you hear in anime, those are never like natural, right? So this is just a rant, but this is a you know, like this kind of stuff, you know. So when you are born with no knowledge about it, there's no critical thinking built yet, trained yet, and then you're thrown in a society, you know, watching TV without filters, and imagine what it feels like to be a Japanese-born kid who is basically consuming all the information without even a doubt, without a shadow of doubt. And the media is portraying a certain ethnicity as such, and there's no filter in your mind to think against, even give a suspicious look at it. And then even worse is 99 or 95% of people in Japan are homogeneous and think in the same way. They don't think critically. So if group thinking applies in that environment where everybody thinks in a similar way, nobody questions the status quo, it's even worse. And then do that for 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. And then here you go, xenophobia. Then you go, you know, inclusive, really conservative and close-minded people. Then here you go, they have less experience interacting with people from different backgrounds. They are not open, they're not embracing diversity, they're not embracing differences in characteristics, personality, looks. They're banning people having tattoo on beaches, pool, or even onsen hot spring. And even the ear piercings or hairstyle, just they're pretty much they're like being a police in every single ways, and then controlling how people think, and then basically they want to have only one way to think about stuff, and it's creating a vulnerability in Japanese society, because it's just too much of a single point of failure if there's no diversity, right? So that's it, guys. I don't know if this makes sense to you, but I know I was kind of rambling about the point that I wanted to get across, and I didn't script this video, so it's totally spontaneous one. Hope you got my point. It's cruel to live in Japan without having that kind of without being able to have that kind of perspective. It's really, once you live in that kind of extreme environment, not even Japan though, not even just Japan, but Korea, China, really biased, homogeneous country like that, and it's really hard to live for yourself. And accept yourself, accept your own personality, because people don't embrace probably you, less, probably they embrace less of you than for you. So I guess this is gonna give you some insight, you guys, foreigners or non-Japanese people who are interested in Japanese cultures, why Japanese act and think and behave in the way they behave. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.